What's up, gang? It's Jeff from James Freddy's channel, and we're going to start taking a trunk floor out of a 67 Camaro. Here's the trunk floor that we're going to replace out of the 67 Camaro. You can see it's been modified previously for an old fuel cell. That's all going to be going away. And in order to get it out, I think I've gone ahead and come up with a plan to cut the taillight panel, because it'll be coming out, as well as the quarters, and just come right along here, and that'll give us access once we finally start getting our panels out to slide them to the back. Another thing I like to do is mark the location of all my spot welds, and that way when I come in with a unibit, I'll be able to just drill right through nice and easily without having to search for them. Although because the car's been blasted, it's quite easy to see them. On the inside of the floor here, I've gone ahead and marked my spot welds, same thing. I'll be able to drill them nice and easily, which will release it from the package tray, vertical uprights, whatever you want to call those. Because the trunk floor actually comes down and sits under the passenger compartment floor at this flange right here, which is why we're replacing the trunk pan first. We're continuing on with our log, which I recommend doing when you're building cars, and we started with a date and what we're accomplishing, and we've gone ahead and taken a bunch of various measurements of the trunk opening and everything. Here is the floor pan. And even though we probably won't need it, I'm going to go ahead and throw a little bit of tubing into it to kind of hold the opening. First thing we're going to do is save the trunk latch support. Then we'll get this taillight panel out of here. Now, I don't normally cut off panels like that, but I saw it on the Arthur Tussock's channel and figured I'd give her a go. Not working too badly. Now the plan is to take the 4.5-inch angle grinder and come along this peak up here across and then down the edge of the frame rails. Make sure not to plunge it too deep. You don't want to touch anything. Just get through that top layer. And then as we get out here, there's an inner taillight panel that comes across. We don't want to cut through that. So when we get out in this range here, we're going to pay very close attention to just go through that floor, and we'll be able to knock all these spot welds out with an air chisel, and that'll save that. I believe at that point the majority of that trunk floor will come out, and that way I can crawl up in there and do a lot more of the final detail work. Now that the floor is out, we just went ahead and put a little bit of tube structure to span the frame rails and give it a little bit of cross support. Now we're on to drilling out spot welds. So whenever I don't have to save the panel underneath, I usually take my spot welds out with a unibit, and that way I can just keep popping through until I hear the spot weld release. Here's a cool tool that we're trying out on the air hammer. I picked it up on some vintage eBay auto body store. I don't remember the name of the tool or anything, but generally before I would drill a spot weld out with a unibit, I would take a little 1/8" double-ended high-speed steel drill bit and drill through the center of each one. I think this tool right here is going to replace them. So obviously the air chisel center punch deal doesn't like those thicker multiple layer spot welds, but whenever it's just two panels together, it just pushes right through them. It should save a lot of time. Now we are freed at the seat backs and the wheel tubs. Sorry for the poor lighting. And we're going to take our air hammer with chisel bit, just come on and knock these babies off, and then either come down the center and peel that, or just peel these spot welds right off the frame rail going forward. Now we're down to our last little bits of the shock mount cross member. Okay, and that right there is our last piece. That was a tough thing to do. So I hope this video helps you out if you're searching the internet and looking for a way to replace your Camaro floors. However, if you went out and found a body man to do it for you, I wouldn't blame you, because that was a hard job. So that's going to be it on the 67 trunk floor removal video. Thanks all of y'all for clicking, liking, and subscribing, and we'll catch you on the next one.